Welcome to Yoga in the Woods, a gentle yoga practice. Starting at the foot of your mat, come into a prayer position, closing your eyes and arriving in this moment. Feeling the breath come in through your nose, down the back of your throat, down to your belly to expand your chest and your belly. And just coming into this present moment. Inhaling through your nose, exhaling slowly. And do one more breath. Allowing your arms to drop to your sides. We'll raise our arms up towards the tree tops. And allowing yourself to come back to prayer position. Just expanding the chest as you raise your arms and coming back down again to prayer position, heart center. One more time. Really feeling the expansion in your arms as you touch your fingertips to the mat or just allow yourself to hang. Again, bending your knees generously, just allowing yourself. Shaking your head yes and no, coming into this moment. Feeling the breaths come in. And if you are feeling called, you can rest your chest onto the tops of your thighs, bending those knees deeply. And slowly raise back up to standing, feeling each vertebrae, raising the arms back towards the treetops, and sliding your hands down back to heart center. And raising your arms again, coming back down and touching your fingertips to your mat again. Always keeping at least a micro bend in those knees. You can bring your fingertips to your shins. You can rest your belly on the tops of your thighs again. Really taking it as slowly as you need to go. And slowly standing up. Raising the arms back up towards the treetops. Hands together, back down. And fingertips to the mat again. We'll walk our hands out to plank. You can put your knees down on the mat or you can keep them up off of the mat, whatever you are feeling called to do. And then placing your knees to the width of your mat, your toes are together, sinking your hips back down to your feet, stretching your arms out into child's pose, allowing your forehead to rest on the mat. Breathing here, getting grounded. We'll take several breaths here in child's pose. When you're ready, walking your hands back towards your knees, coming into tabletop, hands and knees, making any adjustments as needed. So neutral back, and then we'll move into cat-cow. cat being, raising the back towards the treetops, and then moving with your breath, lifting your chin and chest is opened into cow, and then again moving with your breath in and out, cat, cow, very slowly, and feeling that your back is really rippling up and really extending as much as you can to get a very good stretch in the back. And moving with the breath, inhale your chin up, exhale, chin to chest. And then stepping the right foot forward, we're going to sink our left hip towards the mat, making any adjustments here. Maybe you need to walk your toes, your foot forward a little bit to get that stretch in the left hip flexor. And if it's available to you, you can bring your hands to your knee, just allowing yourself to feel the sensations. And if you want a deeper stretch, I invite you to swing your arms forward, up over your head, and bringing your eyes, your gaze to the treetops. And then from here, bringing your hands back down to the mat, flexing the foot, flexing the right foot as you sink your hips towards your left heel. And then from here, bringing your hands both in front of you, we're going to drop that right leg out to get a nice stretch in the hip, maybe a little bit different. No forcing, just allowing that hip to feel a different stretch. And then we'll switch to the other side, bringing that left foot forward and allowing that right hip to sink towards the mat. Feeling a nice hip flexor stretch. And from here, I invite you to take it a little bit deeper, placing your hands on your front knee. Or to take it deeper still, swinging those arms up overhead and gaze towards the treetops. Bring your hands back down to the mat. Or we're going to drop the hips towards the back ankle. Then allow that muscle, the back body, to release. And bringing your hands underneath your chest, dropping that left foot out and sinking the hips down towards the mat, just allowing the hip to get a different dynamic stretch there. And coming back to tabletop. Bring that left leg back. Tuck your toes under, lifting the hips towards the treetops, pressing your hands through the mat into our first downward dog, keeping a nice generous bend in those knees, and walking the dog out if it's called to you. Really feeling that back body stretch. And then we'll come forward into the plank and then back to downward dog, allowing the shoulders to track away from the ears. Coming back to plank again, And then one more time into downward dog. We'll walk our hands back towards our feet to forward bend, allowing your neck to release your head, just allowing yourself to rest on your thighs. And then we'll come up slowly to standing. Raising your arms up overhead. Come to the top of our mat. We'll step our right leg back into a large step, keeping the left leg deeply bent to a lunge, keeping those hips towards the short end of your mat. Straightening the back leg as you raise your arms overhead, really feeling the engagement of your core muscles, and gazing up overhead. This is Warrior One. Bringing your arms down to your hips, and we'll step to the front of the mat again. Shaking it out. From here, we'll step the left leg back into a deep lunge, keeping that left leg straight, the front leg is deeply bent. And I invite you to bring your arms up overhead if that calls to you. You can keep them on your hips. And raising the gaze towards the treetops. Really feeling the core muscles. Bring your hands back to your hips, stepping to the front of your mat again, shaking it out. And we'll step our right leg back into a deep, wide lunge, swiveling that right foot down to the mat. Checking your form, bringing your arms parallel to the mat, gazes to the left hand, middle finger, and breathe. And bring your arm down to your legs, swinging that right arm up over into a straight line from your fingertips all the way down to the right foot. You should have a nice line there. And then bringing those right fingertips to your right back leg, bringing that left arm straight up overhead, gazing towards the treetops. Feeling a nice stretch in that left side body. Back to parallel arms, and then stepping up to the front of your mat. Shaking it out. We'll go to the other side, stepping that left foot back in a wide lunge, swiveling that left foot down, flat. Feeling the form as you raise your arms parallel to the mat. Really getting grounded here. Gazes to the front hand, middle finger. Breathe. And bringing your elbow to your knee, swiveling, swinging that arm up in front of your body into a straight line from your fingertips all the way to the left outer foot. Gaze is neutral, or you can gaze up or down. And bringing those left fingertips down to the back of your leg, bringing that right hand up overhead, gazing at the treetops, getting a nice stretch in that front body, front right body. Breathe, and then come back to parallel arms and stepping to the front of your mat. Shaking it out if you need to. And we'll come to the long side of your mat, facing the long side, Hands at prayer, center, heart center. Allowing yourself to come back to this practice, closing your eyes if you'd like, feeling the breath coming in and out. And then arms to your sides, palms face forward, chin neutral, gaze is a bit lowered. And then from here, we're going to engage every single muscle from your feet all the way up to the top of your head into a very strong mountain pose. And releasing and stepping out to a wide stance, bringing your legs out where your feet are kind of pigeon-toed, kind of bringing your toes a little bit towards each other. As you place your hands on your hips, engaging your core, and then bringing your chest down towards the mat, resting your hands on the mat if you'd like. Or you can grab your elbows and swing your top body. And from here, placing your hands on your mat, walking it over to the right side, maybe getting a little bit of a deeper stretch on each side, and then over to your left side, a little bit of a different stretch there. Hands to your hips, engaging your core, and then raise up to standing, bringing your feet, stepping them together, shaking them out, shaking your legs out if you'd like. And from here, we're going to move to balancing pose, getting grounded on your left foot, sliding that right foot up to your shin or to the thigh, not your knee. Really opening up that right hip open and pressing your foot into your leg, and your leg is pressing into your foot, finding a focal point. And if you'd like, I would invite you to bring it into full tree pose, raising your arms up as long as you have a focal point, really feeling the engagement of your core. And this is a balancing pose. Tree pose in the woods. And then exhale, release, and we'll move to the other side, getting grounded with your right foot, feeling the grounded as you prepare, sliding that foot onto your shin or your thigh, hands on your hips, prayer center, or you can raise your arms up into full tree pose, really feeling the outward opening of your left hip, pressing your foot into your leg and your leg pressing into your foot. Tree pose in the woods. And then exhale, release. Maybe shaking it out if you'd like. And from here we'll move to willow tree in the woods, swinging those arms back and forth, tapping gently on your body as you move. You can lift that heel up off from the ground, really feeling the release in your core, in your center. This is always a fun pose. And then come back to rest, to standing, to stillness. We'll move to the mat, coming to your back, bringing your heels towards your hips, raising those hips towards the treetops, into bridge pose. I invite you to leave your hands on the mat itself, or you can interlace your fingers underneath your back body. You also have other options. If you'd like to raise your arms up over your head while you're in bridge pose, whatever works for you, whatever your body is calling to at this moment. And then release, and we'll flip over. We're going to come into Sphinx pose, so resting your belly, bringing the elbows underneath your shoulders. Hands and forearms are on the mat. Neck is neutral, so not straining your neck here. The tops of your feet are on the mat. This is a gentle back bend. Gaze is towards a few feet in front of you, and just releasing the back muscles. And then we'll flip over. And we'll bring our knees to chest. And you can squeeze your knees towards your chest, interlacing your fingers or hugging your knees towards your chest. Or you can take your knees and do like a nice massage on your back, swinging your legs back and forth. And while you're here, you can also rotate your ankles, your feet, just allowing your body to release. And then raising your arms up over your head as you're laying on your back completely. Your arms and legs are stretched out. Crossing your left ankle over your right foot and grasping your left wrist with your right hand, getting a side stretch, a gentle side stretch in Banana Asana. So feeling perhaps a stretch along your left side. And as you're ready, you can move to the other side, crossing your right ankle over your left ankle and grasping your right wrist with your left hand, getting that. And then we'll move into Yogi's Choice. I decided to do Happy Baby, grabbing the bottom of my feet and allowing those hips to get a nice opener. And as you allow yourself to move into Yogi's Choice, we're going to prepare for our final resting pose, savasana. I want to thank you for allowing me to guide you in this practice today. Thank you for allowing me to show you my neck of the woods. Namaste.